alone in answering the series of questions. Unfailingly posed to me by an eager crowd at various family holidays and gatherings, the series has followed me every time. And as a fellow graduate of the class of 2012, I feel it is my duty to remind us all exactly what we are doing here today on June 9th, 2012, our graduation day, so that I can give you the answer to the series of questions that inevitably we all will face. Now, I'm not talking about the usually easier series of questions we've been asked thus far. The standard, how's the family? So do you have a boyfriend yet? How are classes? Are you getting good grades? While this series fluctuates in ease depending on how we're actually doing, we can always rely on the standard fallbacks. The family's wonderful. Leave out the fights with your mother where you're screaming over the phone about how you don't take care of the family. Oh, I'm not seeing anyone right now. Carefully tiptoe around any hints of the mountains of tissues you threw out last week about your latest relationship mishap. Classes are great. I love all my professors. Never mention the all-nighters that you pulled over dead week or how you just scraped by in your toughest class. No, this series has the standard yes, no, everything in my life is wonderful fallback. I'm talking about the dreaded, so what are you going to do after you graduate? And the series of questions and ensuing advice that our lovely support deems necessary to pour onto us anytime they feel there's an opportunity to do so. The answers to these questions may not be as easily deflected. Technically, those of us that do have a plan can still rattle off a list of the internships and interviews and successfully applied to jobs that we will promptly jump into as soon as we walk off the stage with our diploma. Luckily, I will be one of those fortunate few with a plan. But for the majority of our class, that future may still look a little unclear and unsteady. And for those of us that do have a plan, nothing is ever absolute and anything can happen. So I challenge you to look back instead of forward to answer this question. That might seem a little weird. Reflect on the past to answer a question about the future. Although that diploma may be the ultimate goal of our education, it's those lessons learned between the lines that really count outside of the classroom. So it may not be what you're going to do from now on, but who you are now that you've had this experience. That might help us clarify that ever so ambiguous future for ourselves and for loved ones. What did you actually learn in your time here at Western Washington University? Didn't you learn about others and the impact you can have on them? Did you learn about relationships, how to maintain them and which ones to let go? Didn't you learn about community and what it felt like to make a home away from home? And most importantly, arguably, didn't you learn about yourself? You challenge your beliefs, your values, and your goals. While those may not be clearly defined as of yet, it doesn't mean that there isn't a lot of behind-the-scenes growth behind those challenges. So can you really sum up everything you've learned into a short response to your Uncle Jim's encouraging questions? What did we say to really make it seem worth the thousands of dollars and hours of effort? Maybe we don't need to after all. Maybe it's all between the lines. Because ultimately, while this race is long, ultimately, in the end, it's only with yourself. As long as you know what that race looked like so far, you don't need to share it with every single one of your loved ones over lunch, as much as they would love to hear it. When you walk down the aisle and grab your diploma, know that this piece of paper is really only a byproduct of your real success. Your real success is knowing that when you leave today, you are walking into the world, no longer a teen worried about acne, prom, and what colleges you were accepted to. Nor are you a college student stressing out over finals or getting caught by the RAs for partying in the dorms. But an informed, engaged citizen, an adult, ready for life's continued challenges. So when your family asks the series of questions, what are you going to do after you graduate? Turns out you don't need to sum up those years of life lessons and progress that you've learned. Nor do you need to give a laundry list of the jobs and internships that you've applied to. Instead, share who you've become and be honest about what that future looks like at that point. Confidently say, I'm going to make a goddamn difference. I might not know what that looks like right now, but I know the world will never be the same. Thank you.